Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. In this video I'm going to talk about my budget-friendly baby must-haves and essentials. For background, my son is now 18 months old and initially I wanted to do a video about my must-have baby and toddler items, but then I realized that there would be too many things to talk about in only one video, so I decided to split it into two videos. This one is going to be only about the baby items, which would be like from his first year of life, and then in the following video I'm going to talk about toddler items, things that we used for him since he turned 1 and to the present day. And I'm going to start with a disclaimer. Every child is different, every baby is different, even babies in the same family are different. So don't take this as a me trying to say this is the end all be all baby essentials list, because it's not. Some people make do with way less things. Some people need more than we used. And also, of course, there are several brands of every type of item, and some babies prefer one brand over another, not in a brand sense, but literally like the products are kind of different. So anyway, this is all to say this is what worked for us and for our son. So this is to be taken with a grain of salt, like just like every other guide or video about this kind of topic. I'll start by saying that I spent a total of about 3 months researching baby items before completing my baby registry. And I'm gonna go off of my registry and the categories in it to talk about the items, because it's the only way I can think of listing the things without getting overwhelmed. In retrospect, I can say that I used most, if not almost all of the items that I had on my registry. And of course, as our son was growing and needs were arising, I actually added to that list afterwards. So this is why you're not gonna see a video from me of like items that I never used, because there would not be enough items to make a video from them. I'll just mention them in this video as well. So without further ado, let's go into my must-have baby essentials. I want to start by saying that I had big plans for breastfeeding, and I wanted this to be the main way of feeding our son, but this did not go according to plan. Because of this plan, I only had one set of bottles on my registry, and you know, those were like in case of emergencies, in case something doesn't work. And those were the Philips Avent bottles, and it ended up being that I had to buy several other sets of bottles after he was born, because I soon came to realize that breastfeeding is not going to be the main way of feeding him. In fact, I ended up breastfeeding for a total of 2 weeks maybe, and the rest of it was pumping and bottle feeding, and also the most of it was formula feeding. So bottles became part of our day-to-day life very soon after he was born. So in addition to the Philips Avent bottles, we also use the Tommee Tippee bottles a lot in various sizes, and also various size of nipples. And when I say nipple size, I mean the size of the hole of the nipple, because when the baby is younger, you will need a smaller hole so that he doesn't choke on the too much milk coming out of the bottle. And as he grows, you will need a, let's say, bigger hole to put it this way. He loved the Tommee Tippee bottles and nipples, so we didn't feel the need to try other brands. There are so many brands out there, so I'm not even gonna start talking about them, but for us the Tommee Tippee worked the best. And also the Philips Avent, we actually ended up buying one more Philips Avent set because we were on a trip at some point and our luggage with his main bottles was left in Houston casually by the airline. So I had to do like an emergency Walmart trip, and I just got another set of Philips. I would say he liked all of them kind of like the same. It didn't make a difference for him. Speaking of bottles, another item was the bottle warmer, and I know the internet has divided opinions about whether a bottle warmer is necessary or not. For us, it did end up being very useful, especially for that first period of time where I was also pumping and I was storing breast milk in the fridge. So it came in very handy for warming up a bottle with breast milk. If you're doing formula exclusively, I would say maybe a bottle warmer is not the most necessary thing, because you can just warm up the water before you prepare the formula. But for breast milk, if you store breast milk in the fridge, I would say yes, the bottle warmer comes in very, very handy. From the same bottle chapter comes the bottle sterilizer, and we have the Philips Avent one, and I gotta say we didn't use it a lot because there are also other ways that you can make sure that your bottles are very, very clean. You can put them in the dishwasher with very hot water, you can boil them even, or you can just wash them with very, very hot water. We actually completely stopped using it after the first few months, I would say 4 or 5 months. And again, from the bottle chapter, we have the Munchkin sponge bottle brushes. Those are amazing for cleaning the bottles and also the nipples. We use those a lot, and when I say a lot, it's a lot. And we also use them afterwards for cleaning the sippy cups, because a sippy cup also kind of has like a nipple situation going on. So very handy. And with this also comes the bottle detergent. Yes, we used a baby bottle detergent, the Dapple Baby one. We used that for the first few months. I had a set of 3 bottles of that detergent, but I gotta say that after that set was exhausted, I just switched to just using normal dish soap. And since we're talking about feeding, I will talk about the formula as well, because that was a big part of our feeding journey. For the most part of our son's infancy, we used the Enfamil brand formula, and that spanned everything from like the normal, regular formula to then the purple one, the Gently's one, because he had reflux pretty early on. And also, beyond that, even better, is the added rice Enfamil formula. It's the pink box, and I have to say that throughout the first few months of our son's life, we were still dealing with a formula shortage in the United States, and the added rice formula was so difficult to find. And every time we were about to run out, like we had to do this master plan of raiding the whole city of Houston to find the formula. And at some point it was so bad that online it was nowhere to be found, and it was quite a stressful period of time for us, because it was the formula that he was doing the best on, and it was the one that was reducing spit ups. He had a lot of spit up. So yeah, towards the last couple of months before he turned 1 year old, his reflux was, let's say, almost gone. His spit up was almost gone. So we tried to see if there are other brands that he does good on. And I gotta say that the H-E-B brand formula, the sensitive one, the purple box, which is kind of like the equivalent of the Enfamil Gently's purple box formula, that one is really good, and it's significantly cheaper than the Enfamil brand. So in our case, that one also worked for us and for our son, so it's a total recommend from me. And another equivalent for the Enfamil Gently's is the Similac, I think it's called Sensitive or something like that. I'll put the box on the screen, and he liked that as well. But I gotta say that towards the end of his first 12 months, formula was of course not that much of an important part of his diet. It was still very important, but he started solids at 6 months, and of course he also had food. Last but not least in our feeding chapter is bibs and burp cloths. I feel like you can never have enough of those when your child is struggling with spit up. So for bibs, we mostly use a set of 10 bibs that were on my list on Amazon. It's called the UFOS Baby Bibs 10 Pack Soft and Absorbent Baby Bandana Bibs. They're very absorbent. It's 10 of them in a set. Very economical, just $15 now. I think they were maybe even a couple of dollars cheaper when we got them. And we still have them because we use them after starting solids as well. In terms of burp cloths, we use the Comfy Cubs brand, also from Amazon, also from my list. It's a set of 6. On top of that, we also use the washcloths as burp cloths because they were very, very absorbent, and there was a huge pack. I know those are in the bath category, but at the end of the day, some things are kind of like flexible between categories with babies. In In terms of diapers, the diapers chapter is not as long as the feeding chapter. Basically, we started off using the Coterie diapers for the first month of his life. Those are not from Amazon. You cannot find them on Amazon. You can find them at Whole Foods, but your best bet is to have, if you want to use that brand, is to have a subscription. We had a monthly subscription for the first few months of our son's life, and basically the box that they sent you each month is supposed to last you, of course, a whole month, and it actually did. So we didn't have trouble with that. When we had the subscription, I think it was $100 a month, around that amount, and I think it's a reasonable price. If you, of course, if you buy them at Whole Foods and you buy them in like the individual packs, it's gonna come out more expensive. But yeah, if you want to use that brand, the subscription is the best thing. Like literally, we did not have to worry about diapers. We switched from Coterie around the time he turned 7 months, and we switched to Huggies, and we used Huggies for the longest time up until I think his 14th month. And then I decided to give the Field and Future brand from H-E-B a chance, and I gotta say, I am very satisfied with them. Our son never had issues with diaper rash or allergies to diapers. I know there are kids who are more sensitive and only do good with certain brands of diapers. My reasoning was, okay, I want to offer him the best possible diapers that exist on the market, and at that time in my head Coterie was that for the first months of his life, because I was like, I want to make sure that he's like as comfortable as possible, and then after his first few months see if he does well on other brands as well. And he did very well on the Huggies, and he did very well and continues to do very well on the Field and Future brand from H-E-B. So I think we've been lucky in that regard. Another very important item from the diapers chapter is the diaper pail. A diaper pail is a trash can basically that is designed specifically for diapers, and what it does, it's supposed to contain the smell as much as possible. And in our case, we have the Ubi diaper pail. That's what I put on my registry after doing my research, and I gotta say we are very happy with it. We are still using it very successfully, and it does its job. The only thing is that we never got any special trash bags for the diaper pail. There are special trash bags if you want to buy them. We use the actual normal kitchen trash bags that we use for our kitchen trash can, and they work just as well. Moving into our big items category, this is activity gears, strollers, car seats, bassinet, crib, etc., etc. Okay, so in terms of stroller and car seat, we got a travel system from Summer Miria, which right now no longer exists on Amazon, or I guess at all. I wonder why. It just was, I guess, discontinued. When we put it on our list, it was something like $330, which was an extremely good deal for a newborn and infant car seat, which can be used for the first year of life of the baby, and of course, as long as the baby doesn't exceed the height and weight restriction, but in our case it was good until he turned 1. And the stroller, and it has the bassinet type of topper that can be either horizontal, like for a horizontal newborn stroller, or you can put it tilted like this and it becomes a seated stroller kind of thing, or you can take that whole thing away and just plop the car seat, the infant car seat, and it becomes just more of a compact stroller. And for us, that worked amazingly. I feel like it was such a good deal. We had the car seat, we had the literally 3 types of stroller in one, right? And it also fit in our car, which is very small. So I'm very, very happy with that. And I'm wondering why it's discontinued. I'm going to put the link from Amazon. Maybe similar things exist, but it was a great deal for us. I feel like we use the car seat way more than we use the stroller, just because in our walks or activities outside, our son was held a lot, was worn a lot. For example, my mother-in-law, when she took him to the park and places, she used the baby carrier a lot. My husband also liked to just hold him normally like this when he was walking around. And I myself, yes, I use mostly the stroller because the baby carrier was with my mother-in-law, and the other carrier thing was a wrap that I'm gonna get to in its own category. I was way too overwhelmed of how to use that, so that's one thing that was not really used. Anyway, moving on to the other big piece of gear, and that was the bassinet. I gotta say that for the longest time I had the Snoo on my registry, but the Snoo is so expensive. I think it's around $1,500 or $1,200, I don't remember. And at some point I was like, wait a second, I don't want to waste my whole registry purchase power on this Snoo. So I researched and I landed on the 4Moms Mamaroo bassinet, and I am so happy that I made the switch. So I put that on the registry, and it was, for us, it worked amazingly. The price difference is stellar, from $1,200 or $1,500 to only like around $450. And the 4Moms Mamaroo bassinet still does a lot of things. It has a swing function that has like various types of motion. It also has sounds, and yeah, I think it does what it's supposed to do: soothe a baby and put him to sleep. And I also have to say, in his first couple of months of life, we actually didn't use the swing function as much, if at all. The time when we used that function a lot was between 4 or 5 months of life. But we used it, it came in handy, it did the job, so I totally recommend this bassinet. Speaking of sleep, at around, I would say, 5 months and a half, I don't know, my memory is kind of blurry, but we transitioned our son into a crib because he was outgrowing the Mamaroo. I think you're supposed to use the Mamaroo until 6 months. Anyway, so he was outgrowing that, and we started using a crib. The crib was not on my baby registry, and it was actually a hand-me-down from Ivan's cousin's son, who is 1 year older than our son. So I don't know the brand, I don't know anything about that crib, but I gotta say, it's a basic, normal crib. It doesn't have any convertible functions. It doesn't convert into a toddler bed or anything, so we will soon have to buy a toddler bed. But for being a crib, it did the job. I think the only like customizable thing that it has is that you can lower the mattress. There are several levels, I think 3 levels. So as the baby grows, you put the mattress lower and lower so that he can't climb over the rail and, you know, fall and hurt himself. On the same note of sleeping gear, we had 2 pack and plays. One is the Graco pack and play change and carry Playard. And I know that's a mouthful, but it basically is a pack and play which also has like a more of like a newborn attachment. And that stayed at my mother-in-law's house for when he was sleeping over. And after, I think, the 1 year mark, he started sleeping in her bed with her. And the second one was the Dream On Me Nest portable Playard, and that one was for when we travel. And it's very compact, very portable. We used it both in like car travels and plane travels. We just checked it in as a checked-in luggage. And of course, for all these like sleeping gears, we also had the matching sheets. And we only had 1 set of sheets for each of the gear items, and that was enough because we would just wash them on laundry day and just replace with the other one. Moving on to the bath category, the first thing we used for the first few months of his life was the Angel Care baby bath support. I really love this item because it eliminates the need for an actual baby bathtub, and it also puts the baby in a very comfortable position, and it doesn't, force the baby to sit to like upright when he's a newborn or just a few months old. And after that we use the Beaba, I don't know the right pronunciation of this word, but it's on the screen and it's going to be linked in the description, baby bathtub, and we used that one until he was just getting too active and was trying to climb out of it. And after that we switched to just not using a baby bathtub at all, just the normal bathtub, and we got like a silicone mat that we still use to this day when we bathe him in the normal bathtub. Another item that we love for bath time is the Frida baby rinse cup, and we use that to this day for obviously rinsing him and especially rinsing his hair. And I love that it has like two modes in which you can use it. There's one with like holes in it and that has like a smaller flow, and there's the other one with which of course you just pour like a constant full water flow. As far as bath toys, we got one set of bath toys. It's 8 pieces. It's the Munchkin Farm Animal Squirt bath toys, and he absolutely loves them to this day, and we use them every time he takes a bath, which at this point is every day. For the bath toys, we also got the Ubi freestanding bath toy organizer. It's kind of like a box/drying thing in which you put the bath toys to dry after you use them. We also got some bath towels, and all of them have like this little hood kind of thing, and because they're for babies. And I'm going to also link them in the description. Last but not least, I mentioned them before, but I also got a set of washcloths, which are very, very absorbent, very, very soft. I can't believe how soft they are. I love them. Of course, they will be listed in the description as well. For the activity and gear subcategory of stuff that you use to put your baby in while at home, I also have a few items in that category. I'm gonna start with the 4Moms Mamoru Swing. It's the same brand as the Bassinet. And I have to say, we did use it. We could have gotten more use out of it, but I am not a huge fan of leaving your kid in the swing for extended periods of time. And also when he was super, super small, he didn't really like being in that swing for more than maybe like 5 minutes. He would start to fret and just be, I don't know, uncomfortable. So we didn't use it that much in that first period of time. We used it more, let's say, around the 2-3 month mark. As soon as he was able to sit, we used the Skip Hop 2-in-1 sit-up activity baby chair. And that thing was amazing. I cannot recommend it enough. It saved us from a lot of situations where we had to do a certain thing and we had to keep our son next to us somehow, but also keep him safe. So this thing was really, really good, and also very entertaining for him because it has those little toys dangly thingies, and yeah, it was great. He loved that seat. Our son also had 2 different play gyms. The first one that he had that was on my registry was a wooden play gym with some dangling, very simple neutral color little toys, and I used to put him on like a blanket and put that thing, and he was entertained by it. He grew out of that first one quite quickly, and the second one that we got was the Baby Einstein 4-in-1 play gym, and that thing he used for several months. I totally recommend it. It was very cheap. I think it was kind of like a little under $50, and it had more like colorful dangly toys. It also had this like mini piano kind of thing that he kicked with his legs and his feet, and it was very fun for him. Now moving into the health and baby care category, and I'll start with the second item on this list that I literally never used, and it's the bath thermometer. I didn't use the bath thermometer because it was just easier to just use my common sense. And I can proudly say I never burned our son with the bath water. I feel like just testing the water ourselves between Ivan and I was enough in our situation. But of course, I do understand that there are parents who want to know like the exact temperature and just would prefer to go by that. In our case, it worked this way just fine. For mouth and tooth care, we had three things. First of all, for his first months of life, we had these things that you put on your finger and you just like brush the baby's tongue, and just to make sure that you don't have like milk deposits depositing on his tongue. Then as soon as he had his first couple of teeth, we had this contraption that I'm gonna put on the screen and in the description. It's like a silicone type thing that you put on your finger, and it has some ridges, or I don't know how to call them. It has some ridges that, one set at the top and one set at the bottom of your finger, and you just do like this, and it's good for brushing the gums and also the first couple of teeth that the baby has. And after that, we started using an electric toothbrush for babies that we still use to this day. It can be used from ages 0 to 3 years old. It's the Baby Sonic infant and toddler electric toothbrush, and we're really very happy with it, and our son actually enjoys having his teeth brushed. We also got a set of 2 hairbrushes and 1 comb that we have used since very early on to comb his hair, and also he loves to play with them even now, so it's one of his favorite toys. And of course, I can't talk about baby health and care without talking about snot and boogers. For snot, we have been using the Frida Baby Nose Frida Snot Sucker, and this thing actually works. I know it sounds and looks very gross because you literally have to like suck the snot, but it really works. And I know there are like electric version of snot suckers, but I have seen in other videos online like opinions from other moms that say that those don't work. So I use what I know works. And for boogers, we have the Oogie Bear device, which is a very simple thing. It's like a stick with some things at the end that you literally use to like dig the booger out of the nose. And it has like one end is for boogers and one end is for the ears. And so you can also like use it to clean stuff from the ears. And I do have to say that this does work, and we do use it every time we need it. I don't know why Amazon put pacifiers under baby health and care, but here we go, pacifiers. Our son used a pacifier since he was, I think, 4 weeks old, and he used them mostly for sleeping. The first set that he used was the Philips Avent Ultra Air, and it's a set of 4 pacifiers, and that set was enough to get us through his, let's say, first 6 months of life, and then those became too small, and for the next size, 6 to 18 month size, we've been using the Tommy TP Ultra Light Silicone Pacifier. And yes, he still uses those. I'm planning to get him rid of the pacifier before he turns 2. But so far, I feel like it's going pretty well. Like, he's not using them when he's not sleeping, unless he had like maybe a major, discomfort or distress about something, was really upset or impatient about something, and we use the pacifier as like an emergency soothing instrument. He's definitely not sitting around all day sucking a pacifier. But I am grateful that pacifiers exist, and honestly, there were moments in this first 18-month interval of his life that I don't know what we would have done without one. Another thing in the health department is a non-contact thermometer, and I really like the one we have. I don't know why now it shows as not available on Amazon. I'm gonna try to link a similar item. I did also get a rectal thermometer, but I have to say I did not use that one that much. There are situations though in which a rectal thermometer I think is the best to use, so I would still recommend getting one. But for the most part, I use the digital thermometer, the no contact for the forehead. As far as sound machine and nightlight, we use the Hatch Rest Baby Sound Machine and Nightlight. But I have to say, we have never used it as a sound machine, only as a nightlight. We still use it. I think it's an awesome product. Like, it has various colors of light. And for those of you who also prefer to have a sound machine, it has a lot of sounds, it has volume, it has everything. I'm looking at it now on Amazon and it shows from $199, and I'm pretty shocked because when we got it, it was $80 or something like that. So I don't know what happened. Probably this link with this product is like this, but if you go in like linked products, you find one with the actual like humane, decent price. And from the same category, I will list our baby monitor, which you probably saw in other videos of mine if you've been watching this channel for a while. This is the Kids Need baby monitor. It works over Wi-Fi, and the cool thing about it is that you don't have to do anything to set it up or like for it to pick up the signal or anything. You just put it in a room or a house that has Wi-Fi and it just automatically picks it up. Like, I don't know, it's crazy, but it works. And of course, that's not the thing that you actually connect or plug. That the thing is the camera, right? It has a camera that sits in our son's room, and this is the monitor that we, you have to charge it obviously from time to time, and you just carry it with you, and it's really great. It has a great coverage. For example, we've had this thing and the camera like installed even in a house that has the 2 floors, and maybe the camera and the baby were at the 2nd floor in a bedroom and the camera was there, and we were downstairs with the monitor, and it really covers very well. Transitioning into sleep items, we did swaddle our son in his first 3 months, or like until he was able to roll, and I think that was kind of like at the 3-month mark. And I have nothing but good things to say about the Swaddle Me Velcro swaddles. Those are the swaddles that we use, and they come in 2 sizes, and I gotta say that our son used both sizes before he was 3 months old, because he was always a bit longer than the average for like his like size of clothes and stuff. And after swaddles, he used the sleeveless sleep sacks. We had a few sleep sacks in several sizes or thicknesses. Also, there's a thin one for more like warmer weather, which is the majority of the year in Houston where we live. And he also had a thick padded sleep sack for when it was winter. That didn't last that long actually. And to stay on the topic of sleep, he also wore a lot of footed pajamas, and the brands that we felt the best with were Carter's and Gerber. Not that we had any other brands. Basically all the sleepers that I got were those brands, if I remember correctly. But yeah, those worked very well for us. They are zippered, so no trouble trying to close and open snaps or buttons or any other complications, and those were just perfect for him and for us, and he still sleeps in that kind of footed pajama to this day. And since I talked about pajamas, I'm gonna talk about clothes for a little bit. I'm not gonna go very much into detail about clothes because of course there are several clothes products on the list, and also clothes that we bought after that. One thing that I want to mention is that I try to keep it as simple as possible and not get like too many like fancy clothes, because I knew that family members like to gift cute looking clothes, and I try to have the essentials covered from my list. And that was of course footed PJs for the night, and for the day it was always a combination between bodysuits, either long sleeve or short sleeve, and some pants, either short or long, thinner or thicker according to the weather. He also wore jeans. He also had a few jackets, like one for each type of weather. He had a snowsuit that my mom got him that he wore like a couple of times when we went to Colorado. And he also had like a thick bear kind of winter overall that he also wore a few times here in Houston. For the clothes, we kept it pretty much within Carter, Gerber, Hanes, the Children's Place, and also with some Old Navy thrown in the mix. Okay, the last part of the spoken video that I'm gonna touch on is gonna be the one about toys. And I'm saying this because my battery keeps dying and I don't want this filming to take forever. I will mention the other items at the end of the video, just, you know, with visuals so that you can see what other items we used. But for now, in the spoken part, let's just talk about toys for a little bit. I didn't put a lot of toys on the registry just because I knew that a lot of family members and friends, they like to choose toys, and you know, it's a fun part of shopping for a baby. But here it goes. I got 2 rattle toys for the crib or stroller. You can, you know, velcro them or like roll them around, you know, the stroller bar, let's say it like this. I also got the Peekaboo crinkly soft book that he loved a lot. I got a set of rattle toys that are also teethers, like they have the part that is made of silicone and the baby can chew on it when he's teething, and he loved those as well. Another thing that I got was this Skip Hop Bandana Buddies activity toy that is kind of like an elephant with various textures, and that it has parts that he also can chew on. He also loved that elephant a lot. I got the Manhattan toy Winkle Rattle and sensory toy that is kind of like a tangled silicone kind of thing. He also liked that one. And I also got the duck. The duck is a musical toy that also spins around and walks around. And I gotta say, that was the best toy investment ever. I got that toy for him for Christmas in 2022. He was, I think, 4 months old. And to this day, at 18 months old, he keeps playing with it and he loves it. So, totally recommend if you have to buy one toy gift for a family member, baby, child, toddler, please get that duck. It is amazing. There were even other kids at his first daycare that he went to that the parents ended up having to buy that duck for them because we gave it to him for a few days at daycare and other kids saw it and it was a total hit. I'm gonna end the description here because my battery is dying again, but keep watching for the other items that I didn't have time to mention in the spoken part of the video. And stay tuned for the second part of this, which will be the toddler essentials. Until next time, bye-bye.